Welcome back. Well, let's focus on Greenply. The past quarter's numbers a little bit subdued, but what's the way ahead? We're joined by Manoj, Tulsian, the joint MD and CEO of the company. Hi, Mr. Tulsian. Good morning. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Well, it appears in the plywood business, this time around is a little bit softish. Could you tell us what is the volume target you have on the plywood business? What is the margin outlook? So volumes, margins, and have you lost any market share? Because there's no growth this quarter.
So, morning, Nigel. It's always a pleasure to be there on your show. In terms of plywood, for the full year, we are given a guidance of a 10% volume growth and also a double-digit margin. But yes, I agree with you. The first quarter has been subdued. But when I look at the lower sales in housing by almost 20% across all the metros, I think possibly it's a decent job done. There is a pressure on liquidity in the market, and June was quite a bit, possibly early monsoon, and maybe a mix of also lower housing sales.
But you believe that things will recover from here on? Your plywood business, you'll do 10% revenue growth at least. Is that possible?
I think so. If we just wait and watch quarter two, July has been good for sure. Mm-hmm. And, I told you also earlier that with the BIS implementation across the panel division in the month of August, in H2 will look much better for sure.
Okay.
Yes, but I think, we need some more traction on the housing sales side because quarter one was quite disappointing when you look at the numbers.
Indeed. And margins recover to double digits as well?
Well, if we are able to do around, even 7 or 8% volume growth during the year with around 10 or 11% revenue growth, I am sure that we'll touch double-digit margin because we'll get a lot of operating leverage also, which will play.
Mr. Tulsian, what did you mean? Some liquidity issues there in the market?
Well, so, Prashant, what has been happening, which we have been seeing for last 2 or 3 quarters, that we are not able to get our receivables we recover on time. And to that extent that, some of our dealers, the channel partner who have never failed in terms of paying on time, also this time could not pay on time in the month of June. That clearly shows that somewhere there is a liquidity issue into the market,
Should we tie that in with what we've been hearing from, some finance companies, etc. we speak to, or that's not it's a specific issue here with Greenply?
No, I don't think. I know we have checked with other building material organizations also, and we find that they are also facing similar challenge. So somewhere, liquidity is stuck, and I think RBI has taken enough measures. Everybody is saying from quarter two there will be a lot of money which will come back to the market. So I think possibly that will resolve the issue. It's a short-term issue.
Mr. Tulsian, what is the overall, as we stand right now, what is the overall FY26 revenue growth estimate that you can tell us? It is that 10-15%?
Yeah, so, two line of business, plywood and MDF. MDF, if you really see, we have done around 7.5% volume growth and 10% plus revenue growth. So our target for both the, division of business was that we'll grow in double digit. MDF will maintain a healthy margin of around 16% for the full year. We are already ahead of that. We are around 17.5% in quarter one. And plywood, we said that almost from 8% last year, we will move to double-digit margin this year. First quarter, we have not been able to pull that up. But I'm very sure that by the year end, we will move to double-digit margin and as well as double-digit growth in plywood also in terms of revenue.
All right, Mr. Tulsian, got that. Encouraging to hear that July has been better.
Yes, sure.
Couple of other pointers, debt repayment target for this year, what is it likely to be? And working capital days got stretched a little bit. Maybe it's because of the liquidity issues and the likes. Where does it stabilize at?
So, debt right now, we are at around 500 plus. But by the end of quarter two and quarter three, this will come down significantly. As you rightly said, one account of better collection. The other is also on the MDF. We are taking a plant shutdown in the month of August. It's a expansion of capacity by almost 200 CBM per day.
Okay.
We built up the inventory, so that will get also liquidated in the month of September. So by the end of quarter two and quarter three, we'll continue to reduce our overall debt exposure. And I think by the year end, we should be somewhere around 400 to 425 against 534 right now.
And working capital days comes down to back to 45, 50 days?
Well, 45 days in plywood looks to be difficult, but, we are almost at around 59 days or something right now. But I think 51, 52 days for sure will bring it down. So that will also pump in extra money into our balance sheet.
And net profit for the year will be around 120 crores odd? Last few years, you've been doing 90 to 100 crores. Is that a probable number we can work with, going by everything you're saying?
Well, I'm looking at both the business separately, and then we also have a hardware business, so which will still have some drag during this year. So I'm just looking at individual businesses, and whatever it adds up to, you guys understand the numbers very well. So whatever you're saying, numbers must be correct.
Okay, let's see whether or not you can do that. Next time I'll push you a little bit more once we're at the halfway mark, but 120 to 130 crores net profit is what some brokerage estimates are working with.
It's doable.
It's doable. All right. Thanks a lot for that, Mr. Tulsian. Well,